Sometimes as I'm recording, I cruise through the game, no problem. I've played a lot of games in my life. I may not be the greatest player on earth, but I'm reasonably good. I can pick up most games and do well enough to see what they're like. Fu Shaolin destroyed me. I was stuck here on stage 3 for about 45 minutes. And stages take about 15 to 20 seconds to play. Some of that is how this game has a lot of that early fighting game roughness, where nobody really figured out how timing attacks and spacing and blocking would work. And some of that is because Fu Shaolin is set up to punish players hard. In the game, you are Shin, a Shaolin warrior who is climbing a series of temples on a mountain to defeat the 3 demon kings, martial arts masters who are terrorizing the local area. What that means is you do a series of 13 one-on-one fights with different warriors. The fans at the top of the screen represent yours and your opponent's health. You both start a match with 3, and when you knock them down, you move on to the next fight. Every fight gets repeated twice. Everyone on every tier of the mountain apparently have identical twins who will join the battle after their twin is defeated. And if you ever get knocked down and get a game over, it's back to the start of the mountain. Well, with 2 exceptions. First, if you get enough points, then there's an extra small fan at the top, and that will grant you a round 2. The other is the gourd of wine, and by collecting that, you'll continue at that tier of the mountain when you get a game over. There's only 2 of those gourds in the game though, and they don't reappear after you've collected them. I need to talk about the control scheme here, because it's bad. Fu Shaolin draws obvious inspiration from Data East's Karate Champ, but that just had a challenging control scheme. The control scheme in Fu Shaolin is complete madness. First, most of your basic actions are on the D-pad. Forward and back will make you move forward and backward, and up will make you jump, but then things get complicated. Down and back will make you jump backwards, up and back will make you jump forward. Down will make you do a low punch, forward and up is a high punch. On top of that, all actions are continuous. In other words, they activate instantly, and as soon as an action ends, if you're still holding the input, then it will repeat. Holding down B will modify this a little bit. B and down is a low kick, B and forward is a mid kick, B and up forward is a high kick, up and B is a forward jump kick, and back and B is a reverse kick. You don't automatically turn around when you go past somebody. You have to stop all of your inputs, then push toward the enemy, and you'll finally turn around. There's one more thing you can do on stages, and that is how, after a while, a ramen bowl might appear, and if you collect it, then you recover 2 fans of health. You will absolutely need it to get through some stages. As for the fights, well, for stages 1 and 2, you're fighting a pair of martial artists who have just about the same moves that you do. The only tip I have for dealing with them is to punch them in the head, because that gets the most damage. Stages 3 and 4 have you fight giants, and these are, by far, the hardest stages in the game. The giant's size and extra reach exacerbate one of the major problems with the gameplay. Only the very tip of your fist or foot does damage. If you're too close to someone, then your attack just passes through. In the case of the giant, you have to hit them in their torso to be effective, and the only way you can really do that is with the jump kick. Technically, it is possible to jump up to the lamps and then hit them with low attacks, but you move around when you do your low attacks, and so you're more likely to fall off than hit them. The jump kick sends you forward, and so your kicks will often go through the giant. You have to clumsily manage your spacing here just right in order to take them out. Stages 5 and 6 have you fight some portly fellows. They'll charge at you, bouncing their stomach up and down, and sometimes summon a giant ball that they'll bounce back at you. Also, the second one can launch his head at you and make it explode. Stages 7 and 8 have you take on a pair of acrobatic twins, so I guess they're quadruplets in this case. They're always flickering and standing on each other's shoulders. Just punch the one on the ground and they'll go down pretty easily. Stages 9 and 10 have you fighting a wizard who will fly up into the air. On this stage, it's possible to use a super jump by pressing the A button, and that will let you get up to kick the wizard. Also, those gaps aren't holes that you can fall through. There's ground beneath them so you can cross to the far side of the stage. And then after that come the 3 Devil Kings. If you manage to take them out, then the game loops, except even harder, with all of the characters replaced with silhouettes. As you might expect, this is not a popular game in Japan. That control scheme bothers everybody. And yet, somehow, this game got a sequel. It was released on the Disk System, and I did see some people say that it was the better game. I guess I'll find out in a few months. And yeah, this one is really bad. I went in with high hopes, and then got crushed. And the weird thing is that once you get past the giants, everything becomes a lot easier. Of course, it's easier, not easy. You still have the terrible controls, and you still have to go back to the beginning of the game if you screw up. There isn't even a 2-player versus mode here, and you'd think that this would be a perfect game for that. All in all, Fu Shaolin is a game that you're not going to want to dig into.